All right, let's turn the corner here. We had a top 10 showdown in college basketball tonight, and it was between number 6 Iowa State and number 5 Marquette. This game is tied at 61 with 9 minutes to go. Iowa State proceeds to hold Marquette to 9 points in the final 9 minutes, and the Cyclones come out an 81-70 winner. Keyshawn Gilbert, Rob Dowster, has scored at least 23 points in 4 of his last 5 games. Iowa State put Marquette in the blender down the stretch. Cam Jones didn't have enough help, and Gilbert and the Cyclones are a winner. What did you learn about Iowa State and Marquette in this game tonight?
I don't know so much if I learned that much, but it's more like they kind of prove that, okay, we're here, right? Okay, we are Iowa State. Okay, we are a team that is going to be in the mix. We're going to be a threat in the Big 12 title race. We're going to be a team that you want to pay attention to, because I do think that the knock on them last year was they could beat you up physically. They could guard you. They're so tough. They were a little bit overranked because they were so tough and so physical. They beat all of these like small teams by 48 points or whatever it was. Like, they ruined the net. I mean, we all heard T.O.'s rant plenty of times last year, right? But I think going out and doing this to a Marquette team that we've seen beat Purdue by 20, right? That we've seen go into Maryland and beat Maryland, a place that Ohio State lost by 687 points tonight. To be able to do that to this Marquette team, where if it wasn't for like was Cam Jones had like a personal 10-0 run in the second half. If he doesn't have that run in the second half, like this isn't even a game down the stretch. Like, I think there was one moment in the second half where Marquette really put some game pressure on Iowa State, and they immediately responded with their own 9-0 run. But to me, the difference is Keyshawn Gilbert is a game changer, man. Like, that dude, he's not just – there's no fluff with his numbers. Like, he is a bucket. Curtis Jones is a bucket. They got a single point. They have an All-American on their team, their point guard, Tannen Lipsey. He had a single point tonight, and it didn't matter. They pretty much dominated a top 5 team from tip to final buzzer, and it's really, really impressive. Now, the context is nobody goes into Hilton and wins, but hey, look, you know what? Home court is home court. They took advantage of it. Credit to them.
It's well said, because Iowa State didn't lose a single home game last year. They went 18-0 at home and haven't done that yet this season. They win this game by 11, Henson, and Rob just said it. You know, I'm going to get to Jeff on this after you, John, but when watching Iowa State last year, you still felt like offensively they were lacking that next level. Well, Keyshawn Gilbert has taken that leap with 23 in 4 of his last 5 games. And Jeff, I remember the moment that Iowa State brought in Joshua Jefferson. You said that's going to be a really good ad for them. And tonight, he had 15 points. He had 12 rebounds. Henson, what do you see with this Cyclones team? Are they a national title caliber team in your mind, John?
100%. They're kind of my dark horse pick preseason to get to the Final Four. And they're actually looking better than I probably ever expected them to look. I think Keyshawn Gilbert adds that down the stretch, and we need to get a bucket, or vice versa. If we need to put a team away, they've got a guy. So when you play defense like that, holding them to 9 points in the last, 9 minutes or something like that, and then you have a guy like Keyshawn Gilbert who can get to the rack, create, and they're bigs. Also, they finish, they're physical, they're tough. They're a little bit more offensive-minded than last year's guy. So I love how Iowa State looks. They are going to be really tough down the stretch, playing that defensive kind of grinded out game. And then don't let Lipsey or Gilbert start finding themselves or get in their bag and start hitting you with the 1-2. It's gonna be tough for you to beat them consistently, especially in conference play.
Goodman, your take.
Yeah, when I talked to TJ before the season, in the offseason, he said he knew he needed to add a little more offensive firepower. And Jefferson was a guy, but you look at what they've done so far. I mean, they've scored 81 against Auburn in a game they should have won. Let's face it. I mean, they pissed that one away. Tonight they score 81, I think, against Dayton. Didn't they have almost 90? So their offense clearly is better. They're not just reliant on their defense anymore to grind out games. They've got a bunch of weapons, and the addition of Jefferson makes it easier for a guy like Gilbert, because now, again, I think teams were keyed in more on Gilbert last year because he was one of really, who else could make plays off the bounce? They really didn't have a lot else. So Jefferson gives them another option of somebody that can put the ball in the hands and he can go make a play.
Rob, I'm going to ask you this question. Who's the best team in the Big 12?
I would probably still lean towards Kansas being the favorite to win it just because of the way that it works at Fog Allen Fieldhouse, and I trust Bill Self. If you're asking me who I would want to bet on to make the deepest run in the tournament, that's tough. That is tough. I kind of like what I saw. I feel like it's too reactionary to say this, but I'm just going to say it anyway. Like I like what I saw out of Iowa State tonight. And the reason why I say I like what I saw out of Iowa State tonight is that the defense is going to be there. And I think that I trust Keyshawn Gilbert, Tamin Lipsey, Curtis Jones, that backcourt a little bit more than what we get out of Houston's backcourt. Like we saw with Houston down the stretch in some of those games in the players era, where when it gets to kind of nut cutting time a little bit, right? Like, do you trust guys? Do you have guys that can go out there and create easy shots for you? And I kind of think Iowa State has a little bit of an advantage there, but I don't feel confident about anything that I just said. So I feel like I'm very reactionary in this moment.
Jeff, are you more bullish? Yeah.
Well, I'll say this. Like watching Houston in person a couple times, I'm a little bit concerned. I really am. I just Jamal Shedd was so important to everything they did. And Milo Suzan's
Jamal Shedd was Tamin Lipsey, Goodman. Jamal Shedd was Tamin Lipsey.
Better offensively to me. And he made everybody else better. Like that's the thing. Now I think those bigs are a little bit exposed for not being skilled bigs. And they're just tough, rugged, play hard. And Kelvin said it to me the other day. He said, like, I might have to go with Terrence Arsenal at the 4. I might have to be able to get a guy that can make some plays offensively, because right now it just doesn't seem to be working. To me, again, you got to be able to score. And right now they just can't manufacture much.